Now make Linux system member server in Windows domain. That means suppose we are having a Windows domain and Windows environment where we are having a domain controller as Windows, and also all clients are like Windows, but suppose we want to use a Linux server in that environment. So what we can do, we can make that Linux machine as a member server in that Windows domain. We can use it without adding into the Windows domain, but that will not be secure because it will remain outside the boundary of domain security. And then the users which we create on Windows Active Directory, they will not be able to log into this Windows server, a Linux server. So it is better to do what? Add the Windows Linux machine into Windows domain, so that the users which we create in Active Directory, they can log into this Linux server also, so that we can configure some important services like web services, which works better in this Linux machine, I think, and mail services we can use. We can use other things which we can configure on these Linux machines for Windows Active Directory users. Now, for do this, we have different options. We have option to use Samba also. We can use Samba Winbind. We can configure Samba Winbind to make this Linux machine member of the Windows domain. Or I will show you the easy way here with this realm command. So first what we do here, the package we required is realm D. So first we have to install this package in our Linux system, and after installing the package, first we have to make sure that the IP address should be same as the Windows domain, and also we have to make sure the DNS domain name and also the DNS server IP is correctly configured for the domain. So what we will do, we'll do this first. I'll show you how you will do this. Now first I will check whether I have this package installed or not. This is realmd. Now it is installed in this machine, and if it is not installed, then we should install this package. Now after installing, we should check the IP address of our system. So our system IP address is this 192.168.1.50. Now I have a domain server here, and this one is 2016 domain server, and it's a domain controller, and now you can see here, this is the name of the domain controller, DC1. This is the domain name, pali.com, and it is under the IP address of this domain controller is 192.168.1.100, and it is in the same domain, it is in the same network like which our Linux machine is. Now what we have to do first, we have to configure the same network IP that is already there, and also we have to configure the DNS server and domain name in our Linux system. So this will be the DNS server, because this domain controller is also a DNS server. So I will use this IP for the DNS server, and for the domain I will use this pali.com. So let's configure the Linux machine first. So it is already in the domain, so we can check whether it can ping our server, domain server or not. It can ping the domain controller. That means we are connected. Now only thing we have to make sure that we have to configure the DNS server and domain name properly. So I will use nmcli command, connection modify. This is our connection name, and I am going to change IPv4 DNS address, and the DNS server is 192.168.1.100. Then I will change the domain name also. So DNS search domain name, and that's it. So I will update the changes. Okay, so now changes is updated. And also, what is our host name? So our host name is client.example.com. So it is in the different name. So I will correct this one also. So our name for the machine must be host name, and I will use client.pali.com. Okay. So now this is my host name, and I have configured the DNS server IP and the domain name. Now let's try to ping with the name. So the server name is DC1. So let's try to ping and see whether it is resolving the name or not. Okay, so it is resolving it, and it is resolving with this IP, and it is also, it can ping. We have already seen that it can ping the machine. Okay, so it can ping also. So now we are ready to make this machine member of the domain controller. Now first what we will do, we will use relum command to discover the domain, that whether our Linux machine can see any domain here or not. So when you use this command, it will try to find the domain within the network, within its local network. So when I try this, so it can find the network, and what it is saying here, that this domain is available. The type of the domain is Kerberos, the relum name is pali.com, and the domain name is also pali.com. Now whether it is configured, so it is not configured. It is not configured, that means I have not joined this machine into this domain. Now server software, it is Active Directory, it is Windows Active Directory. Client software, it needs SSSD. Now it needs these required packages. So it needs these packages to make this machine member of the Windows domain. So it is showing you these packages must be available to make this machine member of the domain. So what this command will do, this command will do, actually if it is not there, it will install these required packages also. So we don't have to do anything else, and you can see it's also using some package of Samba also, but it is not configuring that Samba WinBind. Now I want to join this domain. So what I will do, I will use the command relum to join the domain. Now when I press this, when I use this command, it will ask the password for the administrators of the Windows Active Directory domain, and when you provide the password, then it will join it. Let's see that. So it is asking the password for the administrator, abc@123. And now you can see it is the command is run without any error. Now when I check this again with this command discover, now you see here that it is configured. It is configured as a Kerberos member. So now this machine becomes Kerberos member for this domain. And how you will log in? So for logging in, we can use the format like this. This format is like you will provide the username at domain name. So if you want to if you want to authenticate that user to use this machine, to log into this machine, then you can use the username format like this, username at pali.com. Login policy says allow Realm logins. That means by default it is allowing the login for the other users. We can also check by Realm list command. List command is also showing the same thing, and if you are not configured, then list command will not show you anything. It will not show any information. Now let's check, do we have any user on that Windows Active Directory. So here in this Windows server, in the Active Directory, I have one user available here, AD user 1. And when you check here under the computer tab, you can see the account of that machine. So when you make any machine, any client machine member of Windows Active Directory domain, then those machine accounts created under this computer folder, in this computer container. And when you check this, so it shows you that it uses pre-2000 computer name as client, that is what the name. DNS name is client.pali.com, and operating system, it is not getting the information because it is Linux machine, and these are the other informations. Now the account is there, and I have one client, I have one user account also. AD user 1 is the user account I have here. So now what, I will try to log in with this user account to my Linux system. So how you will do that? So for that, we'll use switch command, and the format of the user login will be the username at domain name. Now we can see that the user can log in, only the problem is what, it is not able to find the home directory. So it is not able to find the home directory because it is trying to find the home directory under /home with this user name, and it is not able to find, but the user is logging in. So for users home directory, what we can do, we can share the home directory from the server, and nowadays this Windows server can also use NFS share. That means we can share the directories from Windows machine by using the NFS protocol. So we can do that. So we can share the home directory for the user from the server, and we can use it here in this Linux machine. We can mount it here, and then these users will not get any error about the home directory. But still, it is logging in, that means it is working. So it can log in, that means it is working. Now if I want to remove this machine from the domain, then I will use command realm leave and the domain name. And this is how easy it will remove from the domain. Now when you check now realm list, it shows nothing because now this machine is not a member of the domain. And when you see the discover command, it says that it is not configured. And also when you try to log in with that user, it says that the user does not exist because it is not member of that Active Directory domain. So this is how simple we can do what, we can make this Linux machine member of the Windows domain controller, and those users of Active Directory can log into this system, and we can remove this system from the domain very easily by using the realm leave command. And only the problem with the home directory, so home directory can also be shared from the Windows server by using the NFS protocol. So nowadays in Windows servers we have an option to share the directories by using the NFS protocol. So this is the easiest way to make this machine, make this Linux machine member of Windows domain.